Evelyn Whitaker's story is especially poignant. It's the story of a love she could not deny and how it ultimately, radically, changed her life and her family structure. A highly educated woman, Evelyn worked as a psychiatric counselor and educator prior to her retirement and has embraced both the tragedy and triumph in her life with grace and humor.
Okay, my name is Evelyn Whitaker, and I'm 68 years old. I've been in the life for about 40 years. There was another woman who was hired around the same time as I was. She was also gay, but I didn't know it. And she befriended me, and she really became the woman that I first became involved with. And she whispered in my ear that she loved me. And I remember very clearly my reaction, which was, but I'm married. I'm married. You can't love me. I'm married. And in retrospect, while I didn't know for sure that she was a lesbian, I must have known in some way that she was. From that point on, we continued to see each other. We didn't really get into any intimacy for a good while. It was in 1970 that I decided that I wanted to change my profession. Being a psychiatric social worker was really burnout, and I wanted to do something different. And so I applied I applied for a job at a community college here in Brooklyn as a counselor. I was no longer just working with students. I was now working with the administration, both in terms of the school and in terms of the university as a whole. And so I had to deal with more people. Some of my male colleagues who by then knew of my lifestyle pretty much, although I had not verbalized it, began to, because of their homophobia, try to undermine and undercut me at the job, and ultimately use students. They put out news, like comic strips they made, in which they depicted me as a stormtrooper, Germanic type woman who hated men and who wanted to really remove all men from the administrative ranks. Ultimately, they gave me a lot of power in those comic strips, but it was very, very painful time for me. And I would do that. If I had that to do over, I would have been out from the very beginning and take my chances. I feel better now about me now that I'm out. I'm sitting here talking to you today because I feel better about me being able to do that. And I think that if there was anything that I could say to my friends, who many of whom are still very, very closeted, is that it's wonderful to feel free, to be able to be open and to say, this is me and all and who I am. It's like I've reached the mountaintop.
Lily Wheatley, interestingly enough, fits the archetype of the model wife of the 1950s, with the sole difference that her spouse was a woman. For 47 years, Lily was the helpmeet and unstinting supporter of Ellen, her partner, an entrepreneur and political activist. Many of her own desires fell victim to the demands of Ellen's career. Yet she is pragmatic and seems to bear little in the way of regret about this time. With Ellen's death, Lily has become leader of a vibrant circle of friends and an avid proponent of Buddhism.
My name is Lily Wheatley. I was born here in Harlem in the year 1923. I went to PS 136 on 136th Street and St. Nicholas Avenue. And that was when I started by growing up. There weren't a lot of gay places to go to, but a lot of our friends had what they call house parties, where you would meet people at these parties. That's where I met my first friend at one of these parties. First place I moved to, I met someone who was gay, a woman, and we're still friends to today. Oh, she doesn't live in New York now, but we're still friends. My cousin introduced me to Ellen. We lived as cousins all the time that we were together. We were cousins, not in the beginning, but later on as Ellen's work and things changed and she started catering for different kinds of people, and she realized she couldn't be gay. I did everything. I did what I wanted to do. A lot of people say, well, why did you stay? My goodness, But you do, It's like men and women stay together married. I don't know why they can't understand two women doing the same thing, and they don't always agree on how the other one feels about something, but you stay together. I'm so happy. I'm happier in my home than I have ever been.